Hello and welcome to our channel. I'm Darkerling, and we have Dragon Map and AssassinMeg.
Hello. Hi.
So, I figured that we should go and talk a little bit about our channel, why we chose our name, a little bit about ourselves, as well as what we're going to do with this channel and what we're not going to do with this channel. So, without further ado, why are we the Tatsu Puppet Masters? So, let's see. Well, if I remember when we had this discussion correctly, it was AssassinMeg who suggested the Puppet Masters element of the name. Is that right?
Yes, I did. Yep.
You want to talk about why you felt that was a good choice?
Well, not only does it sound cool, in my opinion, but because we're doing visual novels and there's choices, we are sort of controlling the outcome a bit, like puppet masters with strings.
Yep.
Of the characters.
Yep. And then we chose the word. We were going, it's like, okay, Puppet Masters is good, but you can't go and say, oh, we're the Puppet Masters. Well, Puppet Masters of what? Puppet Masters who? Meh. And so we were going, it's like, okay, well, I mean, we could go and call ourselves maybe like the Unicorn Puppet Masters, but I don't know, that sounds, with a lot of different things going on, it's like, I don't know, that sounds a little gay, literally. So it's like, okay, I'm not liking that. It's like, unicorns are great creatures, but not liking that. We then have, though, we also like played around with the word dragon, but it was like, yeah, I don't know. It feels cliche to just simply use the word dragon. So we then came up with, okay, well, you know, what's the Japanese word for dragon? And distinctly Japanese dragons, not just simply, because the first thing that I looked up was like an English word, dragon. If you know what that English is, that's like the Japanese pronunciation of an English word, which is, we just want to ignore that. So instead, what we did is we went and looked at, okay, what's a Japanese dragon, the Eastern dragons, and what's the Japanese word for that? Because most visual novels are Japanese, or at least a lot of the good classics of them are. And even if the visual novel is not Japanese, it's typically influenced by the Japanese visual novels. So it felt like a strong choice to go and use a Japanese word, so hence Tatsu, which is the Japanese word for Eastern dragons or Japanese dragons, as opposed to European dragons. So.
Yeah, the cool kind of dragon.
Right. Okay, well, why don't we each do a little bit about ourselves. So my name is Darkerling. I'm 24 years old, and I happen to be the reason why we're doing visual novels, because I'm the only one who actually has the experience with playing visual novels. And I was going like, it'd probably be fun to go and do this as a group. So, AssassinMeg, if you want to go next.
All right. Well, I'm AssassinMeg, and I am 23 years old, and I have no experience with visual novels. I just thought this would be fun. I love reading and books and choosing things with scenarios, like in the Stanley Parable.
Yes.
So I thought this would be fun as well.
Yep. So, all right, and it looks like Dragon Map actually was just able to get right back into the chat to join us, because it looks like she's been having some trouble.
Yeah.
So we were just going and doing introductions.
Right on time.
Yeah, and you couldn't have put perfect timing because it's now your turn. So we were just doing our introductions about, you know, who we are and stuff. So.
Okay. So my name is Dragon Map. I'm a minor.
So yeah, that's why we're not going to be giving away her age.
Yes. And well, so you obviously can tell that I'm the main master here because Tatsu is a dragon, so.
Oh yeah, great.
I don't think so.
But yeah, Dragon Map's familiarity with visual novels previous to starting this channel was in the same category as AssassinMeg, where, you know, has done something like the Stanley Parable, where choices do matter and stuff, but never really any of the actual visual novels. And again, because of how we're all siblings and we all grew up in the same household, and Dad read to us a lot, like each evening, different classic works like Chronicles of Narnia, Charlotte's Web, Harry Potter. It's all like, so we sort of grew up in a household where, you know, reading books was just a thing. You know, it's a good form of entertainment, and so it's just sort of like a good fit. So, but one thing about our channel is that we have some rules about what we do and what we don't for playthroughs. And as of at the time that we're making this video, our rule is that we're only going to be doing visual novels. For it to be a visual novel, there are 2.5 rules. The first rule is there have to be choices. And the choices, and so, okay, hey, I can go to the store, I can go to the mall. That is a choice. Rule 1.5 is the choices have to have meaning. If you just simply have choices, but the choices don't really have any meaning or don't feel like they have good impact, the one sub-rule exception would be something like Cthulhu Mythos, where the idea is that pretty much no matter what you do, everyone dies in the end. But in that case, though, there's a very distinct... It's artistically done because it makes sense, but since most fiction, that's not the case, the choices do need to feel like that they actually add up to something. And I'm not going to mention, but there was a particular visual novel I backed on Kickstarter a couple of years ago. The third, they basically like did a sort of like an episodic release there was 3 different installments. The third installment upset me because all the choices of the first 2 installments had no significance or meaning in how the third installment played out. Or the significance was so minor that it was like, we built up to this. There is no difference in all these choices we made. We made lots of choices that then ended up at the exact same result, but you aren't the kind of thing that makes sense for that to be the way it works. So I'm personally a little upset about that. So, okay. But the other thing about being a visual novel is oh yeah, one more thing about the choices. There's also been a huge trend about calling kinetic novels visual novels lately. A kinetic novel is a visual novel minus the choices. The problem is that at that point, it's not as interesting to be going through a thing if you can't make any choices and decisions, because one of my favorite things is sort of just having a group discussion of, what do we think is the best choice for us to make right now? And then, we get to see that, I was right, or crap, I was wrong.
Also, it would sort of get rid of our puppet master ability.
Oh yeah, the whole entire thing about being the puppet masters, I mean, yeah, it again doesn't tie in well. So, okay, but the other part about being a visual novel is no random elements. I mean, there's one visual novel that I own. I'm willing to give its name. It's Fading Hearts. It's a great little visual novel. Lots of different endings, very well done. But the problem is there's a few parts of it that have randomized elements. There's luck. Even though if you know what you're doing, you can typically bypass any of the luck, it still has luck, and it's just like, yeah. This is a true visual novel has no luck because you could always and consistently get the same result every time without having to get lucky. So,
yeah, that's true.
If I make the same choices in the same order each time, I should get the same result. Now, there are some other rules, though, for what we, as the Tatsu Puppet Masters, will do on our channel. The first one is we will not do live gameplay, which is to state that there's Life is Strange, for example, is one that could be seen as a choices matter game. Story is significant game. The issue is it also has live gameplay where you walk around and do some puzzles using the rewind power of the main character. Well, that's cool and great, but the issue is that at the end of the day, that's not very good when we're trying to do this as a group online over the internet, and we're not even in the same room. And so only one person would have control in such a situation. It's like, oh, that's not fun. That's one person's now just having to solve the puzzle so it can keep going forward. So
yeah.
Or there's other cases where, like, I've seen, I can't remember the one right now, but I know that there was like one where they had strong live gameplay choices or live gameplay that were also meaningful choices. Like you could shoot a squirrel. Well, you only had about 5 to 10 seconds to make that choice. Otherwise, you miss your shot. And so the fact comes down to is that it's like that's not something I really want either, unless there's the capacity to like rewind and keep making the choice. But I still don't want live gameplay, because live gameplay isn't entertaining. At a certain point as a group, we're experiencing a story together and we're experiencing choices together. The next one is no micromanagement. So there's a game that me and DragonMap did a while ago, which was where we played with some other friends as well online, and we were trying it out when we were first trying to test out whether or not the concept of this channel could even work. And it was called King of Dragon Pass. The game's good. The game's fun. It's not very fun to play as a group because you are being bombarded with a choice all the time. You make a choice and then you got immediately another choice to be making all the time. You aren't really spending much time looking at the aftermath of your choices. You're just simply looking at, oh, here's another choice. Oh, here's another choice. And typically, also the case with a lot of micromanagement games, and this is even slightly true of like Long Live the Queen, again, an excellent visual novel, is that you are given okay, you have, all these same options every single time. Choose another one, choose another one, choose another one. And it's all like, okay, it's just a lot of choices, and it feels like I'm not sometimes sure what I want to do as a group because I don't even understand the game fully. So it's like, no good. So for that reason, we have retired and will not ever do King of Dragon Pass. King of Dragon Pass also has random elements, so that's why it would never fit with our channel. But okay, and the last one is it needs to be family friendly or have a family friendly option. As like in the case of Fate Stay Night, for example, Fate Stay Night happens to go, and the original visual novels, they had H scenes. For those of you who don't know what H scenes are, an H scene happens to be, oh man, I'm mind blanking for a moment. H stands for hentai, and hentai basically stands for animated porn. So basically, you're looking at porn scenes or sex scenes in the visual novel, where, okay, fine, if your visual novel wants to do that, fine, but we're not going to have that on our channel because we want to be a family-friendly option. We want to be good for the whole family, just be in line with our morals and stuff. And
yeah,
so,
I want anybody to be able to watch if they want to.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, it's like even if we didn't have the morals, the fact comes down to when you're trying to go and get something out to people like on YouTube, there's huge restrictions on trying to go and post mature content. It still would not work out well. But the fact comes down to is that we have that if the visual novel has an alternative where there was some edition of the game that does not have the H scenes, that will be considered as an option, though we will take some time to double review it, because I know for a few visual novels, the reviews have basically been that it's like without the H scenes, the story stops making sense. It's like it actually needs those scenes in order for it to make sense. And so it's like, okay, well, that's not really a good fit for us either. So those are our rules as to what we will and won't do on that. Let's see, the last one is that you might notice on some of our videos, like on the Fate Stay Night, for example, we put a bar occasionally that just sort of like pops up. It says Tatsu Puppet Masters. And why is this up here? Well, it's blocking out the save data, because that save data has distinctly what time was that save recorded. And the issue is it takes some time from the point that we record the episode to the point that we can finally upload it and it's ready for consumption, because we first have to record it. Then we got to go and convert the video file into a format that I can actually use for my editing software. Then I got to go and edit it with the software. Then I got to go and rasterize it with the software, so it's then ready for YouTube. Then we've got to upload it to YouTube, and then we finally post it on YouTube and everyone can see it. And it's like that process can take some time, and so we want to sort of avoid as many questions as we can about why is it taking you so long? Well, look, we got a job, we got real life. We can't just simply go and be spending all of our time doing videos. So,
yep.
And that, I think, is pretty much everything that we had to cover about the channel. AssassinMeg, and DragonMap. Wow, I'm merged two names together.
AssassinMeg.
We're now one person.
The fusion dance has begun. If you have any like last minute comments or stuff that you go, hey, I want to make sure we throw this out there and make sure this is covered.
No, I think everything's been covered pretty well. So,
Alrighty.
though,
Yeah.
I'm sure if anyone has any questions, they can leave comments and stuff. So,
Yeah. Any questions? Of course,
answer those.
you can leave a comment. And then, of course, obviously, subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying our visual novels or visual novel playthroughs, because we haven't made any visual novels, and I don't intend to make any visual novels. But yeah, and then we'll go and see you next time that we post up a real episode, because this isn't an episode, this is just information. Alrighty then, later.
Bye.
Bye.